they still got millions upon millions of dollars on people's head, right? And because I was a victim of a huge ring financially, the Secret Service has the case. So now I'm trying to put the pieces together. Like, okay, the Secret Service is investigating something that I am a victim of. All right, so how do I unpack this? Right? I know y'all probably remember, depending on how long you've been following me, not long after I released Who Stole the Cookies in 2019, it was a large sum of money stolen out of my account, like 9,000 or some dollars, like stolen. And it had on my account plane tickets to China. The only thing is we couldn't go anywhere because we was on lockdown. Some of you probably remember that. Let me know if you remember that. That'll tell me how long you've been here. Um, that's just one instance that I put online when that 9,000 and something dollars was stolen out of my account to buy like 3 or 4 plane tickets to China out of my Navy Federal account. Now I came and talked about that online, but it was so many other instances happened that I did not talk about online. Just because it's Navy Federal, it's insured. So I'm gonna get my money back. I don't like being a victim of theft. However, when you're dealing with bank theft, it's insured, so you get the money back. So I ain't gonna trip too much. What I did not realize was that the people who made me a victim of these crimes got an actual physical copy of my license. Mind you, my license is in my wallet. They got my social security number, my license, my addresses, and I had to go through a whole litany of trouble based on that I didn't even know it was a part of an organized ring. And I'm a very secure person. I have all Apple devices just because of the inability to sideload apps, tracking apps, and all that, I thought. But I started putting two and two together, right? So I'm researching these people. One of the people who has already been indicted, he does gain of function research, a criminal ring with people in it with scientists in it who study gain of function research. Because I was easily able to find these people because they all have LinkedIn pages and all that, the facilities that they work for and all that. So these aren't just run of the mill criminals. This is a really highly sophisticated ring, and the trial date was supposed to start at the exact time the Diddy trial date was supposed to start. So they pushed the trial date back, but the people are already in jail, so in prison. So the notifications that I'm getting from the DOJ are about updates on the people a part of this ring as they get found and indicted, right? But because I'm a victim of the financial part, it was under the Secret Service. I would never have even thought to do a Freedom of Information Act filing with the Secret Service just to see whether my name was incorporated in any kind of database, because I've done that before. I actually did that with the FBI a few years back when some weird stuff was happening. And I was like, let me just see, is there a case or something with my name attached to it with the FBI? So I did that with the FBI. I got the response back from the FBI saying my name was not included in nothing. but it was with the Secret Service. So now I'm this month years old. So some of you guys probably saw me just absolutely stop responding to you from a research standpoint, because now I just found out that I'm a victim of this ring, very organized crime ring. Now, I want to take y'all back to, because it gets more sinister. I'm reading the indictments, and in the indictments, it has people from um, people being arrested. Who this one black guy, who indictment I was going to show on here, but I don't know. I may show it on part two. But in a nutshell, this one guy, his indictment is not under the Secret Service. It's up under the FBI, but it's the same crime ring. His indictment I thought was interesting because he is a cop, former police officer in DeKalb County. And he was indicted on housing crimes. He would put liens on houses. And I'm like, okay, I've heard that somewhere. Now, in his indictment, it specifically said he was a part of an organization called the Nuwaubian Moors. I've only heard that on YouTube only. I learned about the Nuwaubian Moors on YouTube from the Moors, who I felt like was in my chat targeting me. Now, how sophisticated this ring is. I look at these guys as these are some dusty looking, burnt, raggedy, scheming guys who just go around telling people to give up their birth certificate, give up their driver's license, put liens on houses, and do all kind of criminal stuff, but not knowing that this is an actual ring. Very sophisticated ring. And there's so many tiers to it. Now, I remember before the YouTubians left my chat, they had started a coin. They wanted to get into cryptocurrency, and they wanted me in on it. And I just thought it didn't make any sense, because I'm like, what will broke people do benefit by creating a cryptocurrency? Why would I ever be a part of YouTube's a YouTube cryptocurrency from people who can't even get a job, people who don't even have a license? Now, for the people who have known me for a long time, they would know why it would make sense for me to ignore something like that, because since about 2015, I was a huge Bitcoin holder. Now, about around 2015, 2014, Coinbase did a promotion where if you get someone to sign up for Coinbase, they'll give you Bitcoin. And just so happened at the time, I had a very large social club. And I was always a believer in investment stocks, things of that nature. And when cryptocurrency hit the scene, I would research cryptocurrency, and I would, kind of invest here and there. I always believed that someday it'll blow. So I started investing in Bitcoin, and I invested in Ethereum because I felt like, I'm a business owner, so I have to have an alternative route to retirement. At this point, I'm in my late 20s, early 30s, investing in Bitcoin, right? Not only did I invest in Bitcoin, I invested in Google. I invested in Meta when it hit the scene in 2015. I also invested in Disney and Tesla. So I have this portfolio that I'll use later on in life. This is nothing that I'm going to touch. This is stuff that I'm using later on in life, right? So as I'm reading through these indictments, I see that is cryptocurrency involved. So now I'm on edge because I remember earlier this year when I tried to log into my accounts after not touching them for a while. I could not log into my accounts. I remember earlier this year when Bitcoin hit its highest valuation. I said, you know what? I'm about to cash in some of this Bitcoin and do some things with it. Make some moves. You know, my dad and I went to buy a plantation. I said, you know, this probably be a good time because right now it's at its highest, and I got a lot of coins. You know, so this one account that I had about 4 Bitcoins in it on stockpile. Logged into stockpile, wiped out. It's wiped out. All I have is the tax documents. I'm clicking on the tax documents. Like what? Now I had this Bitcoin. I had about 4 coins in this account. This is about worth $400,000, over $400,000 at this point, and it's all wiped out. And I'm clicking on these tax documents because that's how you can keep up with what's in your account. Because it's reaching out to stockpile. All these conversations all year with stockpile, just nothing that I've come on online and talking about. All these conversations with stockpile, and with my coin disappearing. So now I'm preparing to sue you guys because you all act like you don't know what's going on, and you all act like you didn't see where I had these Bitcoins in 2017, 2018, and 2019, and they disappeared in 2020. And it looked like I'm the one that made them disappear because they were slid out of my account to somewhere else. Right? So put a pin in that. Now, my main account, my Coinbase account, which is the people who did the promotion back in the day, which is the account that houses majority of my Bitcoin, because look, I got over 100,000 members in this social club, and it's so many people signing up for Coinbase. I'm getting Bitcoins, they're getting Bitcoins, and this is 2015. When Bitcoin was definitely not 100,000 per coin. But you know, they're giving you fractional shares of Bitcoin, but of course, fractional shares add up to lots of coins. And this is the black people in Atlanta with a lot of Bitcoin, right? That in 2025, in 2015, we didn't know how much these stuff would be worth in 2025. It's just kind of like a novelty that we have in our possession, that I have in my possession, right? So I'm reading these indictments, and I know for a fact that I cannot get into my Coinbase account at this point. I can get in the stockpile. I see what that happened in stockpile with them 4 Bitcoins going, but that ain't even my main account. Here's my actual account. I can't get in it. Now in these indictments, I see people from Coinbase indicted. Now I'm reading through all of the indictments, and why exactly would Secret Service have me as a victim? Lo and behold, it's not just money that's missing out my bank account. You done clint my Bitcoin clean out. And so me unpacking this, I realized that when my computer got hacked, my Bitcoin addresses, all that stuff is on my laptop. Now I thought it was nothing when my computer got hacked. Y'all remember my computer got hacked during a live stream in real time in 2020. Or in fact, 2020 and 2021. But I went and got a whole nother computer. I got hacked during the live. I got hacked when I was doing that Bees algorithm video. I got hacked so bad. My computer was hacked so bad. All of my files, all of my stuff, all of my shit on my computer is now compromised. So if people were around me for a particular reason, it's because, you know, people had access to information that was on my computer. They know something more than I'm just a person on YouTube that's talking. You know, they see a little bit something different. Their overlords see something different. They're small on the totem pole, but their overlords are not small on the totem pole. So anyway, the second time my laptop got hacked, in particular when I was on the live stream, had to be 2021 when I was doing the Beast algorithm video, because I had to actually take my computer to the Apple Store. I got hacked, all my data wiped off, all my data was compromised on my computer, and I had to take it to the Apple Store, and it was so bad and it was so sophisticated. The people at the Apple Store said they hadn't really seen nothing like that. Apple Store in Buckhead. They had to actually go in and wipe my disks off my computer and reset my whole thing. So they was like, well, if you don't have these files backed up, there's absolutely no way that we can even back the files up. That's how sophisticated of a hacker that got into your computer. This happened while I was on live, while I was live streaming. So reading the indictments that's tied up in all this stuff, some of these people were stealing money from Americans, because I'm one of over 1,000 Americans that are victims of this crime ring just on the financial side. It's people that are victim of this crime ring on the housing side, on the criminal side, trafficking side. It is so many different tiers to this crime ring of people. But I do remember reading in this indictment that I've been reading just for the past, these different indictments that I've been reading for the past probably about 2 weeks now, of these people will create fake coins and they would steal people money and they would transfer it into coins in order to hide the transactions. Or they'll steal people's Bitcoin, turn it into another coin in order to hide the transactions. And that caused me, because somehow Secret Service see my Bitcoin address and my email, which is not an email that I've ever made public. My Bitcoin address and my email connected to the criminals who are moving this money. So that's what I've been unpacking for the past 2 weeks. Just cut my month. Like, I don't even know where May went, because I went from having fun and finding like cool shit about people family to really to crying on the side, crying in the goddamn gas station parking lot, telling myself I'm tripping, nobody's following me, I'm tripping, to now verifying that you know, it's bigger than the fact that you can't log into your Coinbase account. Now your Coinbase account being wiped out, they gone with your money. So this wasn't just, the Secret Service don't get involved with a $9,000 transaction or $2,000 transaction. But if it's $400, $500, $600,000 at stake, or more, or way more, then the Secret Service would be involved in. And it just so happened that this investigation has been going on since 2019. 2019, the same year I released Who Stole the Cookies. And so now they offer services like, Department of Justice, are offering those of us who are victims of these crimes services that can help us get restitution and services that offer us protection and services that offers us counseling. Because a crime ring decided to cherry pick somehow, right? But there are some very specific things that I remember that happened here on YouTube. Very specific things. One, in 2021, um, I created a Allodial Nation. Probably created Allodial Nation in 2020, but 2021, Allodial Nation was still going strong. 2021. I did some very controversial videos, including the Beast algorithm video in 2021. Summer of 2021, somebody left a comment. Somebody left a really weird comment on my video. And I took a screenshot of it and I emailed it to myself because it was weird. And then fall of 2021, going into October, I got invited to an event out of town by a YouTubian. And it was multiple military guys telling me, don't go, right? So I didn't go. And then there was a whole fallout that happened on YouTube, right? With the people who was trying to create the coin, right? And then 2022 came, and I released some more videos. And summer of 2022, my channel started getting flagged. My main YouTube channel started getting flagged. And it was taken down. And I posted on social media that they said my channel was sanctioned, right? I posted on social media, right? So that took me off of YouTube on or around June or July 2022, right? And then at the same time in 2022, a big time more created a Allodial Nation, and he had these ID cards, and people started tagging me in it on TikTok, like, Janice, is this you? Mind you, my main platform is YouTube. My YouTube channel ain't been too long, got deleted, so I'm off the tube. While I'm off the tube, this more is running this promotion where you pay to become an Allodial. And they give you these ID cards, and in order to get these ID cards, you have to give up your driver's license, and you have to submit a copy of your driver's license on his website. And on his website, he has my address on his website. And some of y'all definitely remember that, right? Because again, it was May 2025 when I found out it's a ring of people, a huge criminal ring of people. Now, I know these people was together, but it's like, they kind of loose, kind of sloppy. But no, according to the Secret Service, there's nothing loose or sloppy about it. So now it's this bowl of cereal analogy that I have been saying for the past few shows, where every time you try to do something, it's like this one group of people will knock your bowl of cereal over to see how you'll react. Only thing is, when they was knocking my bowl of cereal over to see how I'd react, they didn't know the Secret Service was doing an investigation. So you got the Secret Service watching. I didn't know the Secret Service. I was this much years old. Now when that money got stolen out of my Navy Federal account, it was something that had never happened to me.